You're listening to Only in Seattle.
So you get that preliminary title. What should you be looking for?
Gotcha.
What are things that, as a broker, I should be looking for on that first, email that I get from the title company? What do I keep an eye out for?
So you're representing the sellers, in essence, and you open title, and we get you out the title report about 2 days later, and you get it. You want to look for a couple things. Number one, that I think is most important, that the vested owner that we're showing on the title report is your client. Very important, because you want to make
Pretty
sure.
basic.
Yes, yes. So it's very important.
Okay.
One of the things that we do is we send out the title report. We also send out a snapshot of the title report, which is just a one page, which shows who the vested owner is, if there's any encumbrances that we're seeing, if there's red flags, that kind of stuff, for an agent to be able to brief through it very quickly. But you definitely want to check if the vested owner is correct. It's a good idea if you're the agent, or at least you're with your client, to go through it, because you want to take a quick look to see if taxes are up to date. We're going to show that. You want to look to see that the mortgages that are showing on title are the correct mortgages, that they are the ones that they're currently paying. It's nothing old. It's nothing that should have been paid off. You want to look for that kind of stuff. And then you also want to see what else is on there that may be affecting that homeowner or somebody similar name to that homeowner, to discuss with your seller. And then that's when we get involved with your seller, and we're working.
Who is this guy? Who's this guy coming up on title?
Yes.
Where does he fit in?
Yes.
Let's check it out.
Yes.
So read through that preliminary title report.
Yes. And if you have any questions, that's what somebody like myself does. That's what our
Right.
title
So few
officers do.
people read through.
Yeah.
So few brokers read through title reports on behalf of their clients.
It's important. It's
Yeah.
important. And for the other side of the coin is, once your purchase and sale, say you're representing your buyers, why it's a good idea to look through a title report is, you don't necessarily need to worry about the things that are on there that are currently affecting the seller. You are more worried about the things that are affecting the property. So if your buyer has an intended use for that property, they want to look through the underlying documents, the CC&R, covenants, conditions, and restrictions. They want to look through the easements. They want to look through those sorts of documents to see if there's anything in there that, again, negatively affects their intended use. So if
That's going to impact them.
That's going to impact
Whether there's
them.
something recorded that, hey, you can't do a daycare here, you can't do an in-home business, you can't do...
Exactly.
Just look through your title.
And part of that, the reason why they're looking through that, hopefully, they signed off on a title contingency as part of their offer, and they're able to review it. Because if they find something in the title report, a lot of people in the last couple of years have waived title because, title has to be cleared in order for me to get it. Well, yes, it does, but it's the things that are on title and that affect that property, no matter who owns it, that you want to look at. So if you want to put in a pool, but there's an electrical easement that comes through your backyard, you can no longer put in a pool. And if that's your intended use and you sign a title contingency, you can get out of the deal based on
Right.
that.
That's a really good point.
So it's important.
So should I recommend to my brokers to do a title contingency? I know in a lot of deals over the last few years, we haven't had any contingencies, let alone title. So
It's important. It's important.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get somebody in a transaction where, again, especially if they have a very intended use, they want to park their RV, they want to run a daycare, they want to put in a pool, they want to, any of that kind of stuff. And there's something on the property that does not allow for that, you're going to have a very unhappy client with that.
Yeah.
Or if they...
yeah, that big pool you're going to build, that's a no-go. Sorry.
Nope. Yeah, you're done. So it's very important. I think it's one of the first things that people waive when it comes to the contingencies.
Yeah. Or
but-
they just don't even have it as a contingency
Yeah.
at all.
But it is important because
Yeah.
it affects your ownership.